Anatomy of middle ear. The middle ear is which is also called the tympanic cavity or tympanum. It is a narrow air-filled space situated between the petrous part of the temporal bone and between the external and the internal ear. It is a narrow space situated in the petrous part of the temporal bone between the external ear and the internal ear. The middle ear, which is shaped like a cube, and its lateral wall and the medial wall are large, and the other walls which are narrow, because the cube like shape which is compressed from side to side, and his vertical and anteroposterior diameter is about 15 millimeter. And when you see in a coronal section of the middle ear, the cavity of middle ear which is biconcave, which means the lateral and the medial wall here in two sides it is biconcave, and in the center it is close to each other. The medial and lateral wall which is close to each other in its center. So the distance separating from them are in the upper part or near the roof it is about 6 millimeter. In the center it is 2 millimeter, and below or the floor there is 4 millimeter. So it is cuboidal in structure, biconcave in section, which means the lateral and medial wall which is lie close to each other, and the diameter above is 6 millimeter, in center it 2 millimeter, and below it is 4 millimeter. The middle ear cavity which can be divided into three, which means epitympanum, mesotympanum and hypotympanum. The mesotympanum and hypotympanum which is together, we can say this is the tympanic cavity proper, and it lie just opposite to the tympanic membrane. The epitympanic recess which lie above the tympanic membrane. So it is divided into, in short, we can say that tympanic cavity proper and the epitympanic recess. The tympanic cavity proper which lie opposite to the tympanic membrane, and the epitympanic recess which lie above the tympanic membrane. Communications. Here the middle ear, this is the middle ear, it communicates anteriorly to the nasopharynx through the auditory tube or the ostration tube, and posteriorly the middle ear communicate with the mastoid antrum and the mastoid air cells through the auditors to the mastoid antrum. So it communicates in two parts, anteriorly and posteriorly. Anteriorly it communicates with the nasopharynx through the auditory tube or ostration tube, and posteriorly it communicates with the mastoid antrum and mastoid air cell through the auditors to the mastoid antrum. The contents of middle ear. The contents of middle ear, they are three ossicles. Ossicles means three bones: malleus, incus and stapes. Malleus, incus and stapes. And here the upper half of the malleus and the greater part of the incus which lie in the epitympanic recess. And there the next contents, second one is the ligament of ear ossicle. Third, there consist of two muscles, tensor tympani and stapedius. And fourth, vessels that supplying and draining the middle ear, which means the artery and vein. And the nerves are caudate tympani nerve and the tympanic plexus. Boundaries or walls of middle ear. It consists of lateral, medial, floor, roof, anterior and posterior. These are the boundaries forming the middle ear. At first, we are going to look on the lateral wall. So the lateral wall, which is also called the membranous wall. The lateral wall, which is also called the membranous wall. And this membranous wall, which is formed by the tympanic membrane. The membranous wall which is formed by the tympanic membrane, and this tympanic membrane which separate the middle ear from the external ear. And here we can see that here in the lateral wall there consists of mainly which is formed, the lateral wall is formed by the tympanic membrane along with this tympanic sulcus in the bone. Okay, above here we can see that this is the notch, tympanic notch, and from here in the region of tympanic notch, near the region of tympanic notch, there consists of two opening which is called, first one, here comes an opening, a small opening which is called the petrotympanic fissure, and the next one is the anterior canaliculus for the caudate tympani nerve. First of all, the petrotympanic fissure. Here lodges, this is the malleus. So here lodges the anterior process of the malleus, and also there transmit the maxillary artery. Here it transmit the maxillary artery, and here the anterior canaliculus for the caudate tympani nerve. Here passes the caudate tympani nerve. This is the caudate tympani nerve which leaves the middle ear and enters into the skull, base of the skull, through the anterior canaliculus for the caudate tympani nerve. So this is all about the lateral wall of the middle ear. The roof of petrous wall, which is formed by tegmen tympani muscle. Sorry, the part of bone which is called the tegmen tympani, and so it is also called the tegmental wall. The roof or tegmental wall which is formed by a bony part which is called tegmen tympani, and this tegmen tympani is formed by the both petrous and squamous portion of the temporal bone. Petrous and squamous portion of temporal bone, and this tegmen tympani which separate the middle ear cavity from the middle cranial fossa above. Tegmen tympani bone which separate the middle ear cavity from the middle cranial fossa. The floor which is also called the jugular wall. This floor is formed by a thin plate of bone, and this is a part of temporal bone, and here the bone separate the middle ear cavity. It separate the middle ear from the superior bulb of internal jugular vein. The floor which separate the middle ear from the superior bulb of internal jugular vein, and near the medial wall, this is the medial wall, near the medial wall, the floor which present a canaliculae which is called the tympanic canaliculae, and here it transmits the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve. It transmits the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve through the tympanic canaliculus which is present on the floor. The anterior wall, which is also called the carotid wall. The anterior wall which is called the carotid wall, and here in the upper part there present a canal for the tensor tympani muscle. There present a canal for the tensor tympani muscle. Middle part there is a opening for the auditory tube, and in the lower part there is a thin plate of bone which separate the middle ear cavity from the internal carotid artery, and here the thin plate of bone which is perforated by the sympathetic plexus. The sympathetic plexus means the sympathetic carototympanic plexus, and it is also there passes the tympanic branches of internal carotid artery. So the anterior wall which is called the carotid wall, in the upper part there is a canal for the tensor tympani muscle, middle part there is an opening for the auditory tube, and here in the lower part is formed by a thin plate of bone which separate the middle ear cavity from the internal carotid artery, and the thin plate of bone which is perforated by the sympathetic carotico tympanic nerves, and also by the tympanic branch of internal carotid artery. And the bony septum which separating the canal of tensor tympani and the auditory tube posteriorly on the medial wall, it form a curved lamina called processus cochleariformis. The separating these two part which form posterior part of the medial wall posteriorly on the medial wall, and there form a curved lamina called curved lamina, which is called the processus cochleariformis. Next is the posterior wall. This is the posterior wall, and this wall which is also called the mastoid wall, posterior wall or the mastoid wall. There consist of three features. First one, superiorly there is an opening or the auditors. Superiorly there is an opening or auditors through which the epitympanic recess communicate the mastoid or tympanic antrum. Epitympanic recess, here is an epitympanic recess which communicate with the mastoid antrum or the tympanic antrum, and just below there is a fossa which is called the fossa incudus. Here is a depression lodges a short process of the incus. Next one, there is a conical projection which is called the pyramid. Conical projection which is called the pyramid lie near the junction of medial wall and the posterior wall. This pyramid, conical projection called pyramid, which lie between the junction of the medial wall and the posterior wall, and it has an opening at its apex, and this is for the passage of tendon of the stapedius muscle, tendon of stapedius muscle. And next, to the lateral to the pyramid near the posterior edge or the lateral to the pyramid, there is the posterior canalicule of chordae tympani nerve. Through this posterior canalicule, the chordae tympani nerve enters into the middle cranial cavity. To the middle ear cavity, and we have studied the anterior canalicule, and it leave the middle ear through the anterior canalicule of chordae tympani nerve. So in the posterior wall, which is also called the mastoid wall, and here consists of auditors to the mastoid antrum, and there is a fossa incudus over here and a conical projection called the pyramid, and there is an anterior canalicule, the posterior canalicule of the chordae tympani nerve. Then the last one, which is the medial wall or the Lamprinthe wall. This is the medial wall or the Lamprinthe wall. Okay, and this medial wall which separate the middle ear cavity from the internal ear. Middle ear from the internal ear. We are going to look on what are the features of middle ear. First one, which is called the promontory. This is a rounded bulging produced by the first turn of the cochlea. Rounded bulging produced by the first turn of the cochlea, and it is grooved by the tympanic plexus. Grooved by tympanic plexus. And fenestra vestibulae. This is the posterior wall. Okay, so here comes the postero-superior part. In the postero-superior part, there consists of an oval window or oval opening which is called the fenestra vestibulae, and here it leads into the vestibule of the internal ear and closed by the foot plate of the stapes. Foot plate of stapes. Next one, you can see here above the fenestra vestibulae there is a prominence of facial canal. Prominence of facial canal which runs downward or backward just above the fenestra vestibulae to reach the lower margin of the auditors. Okay, and here the canal then descend. This is the posterior wall, isn't it? So the canal, this canal which descend behind the posterior wall, and ends in the stylomastoid foramen. Ends at the stylomastoid foramen. Next one is the fenestra cochleae. This already I have said that it is the posterior wall. So here comes the postero-inferior part, and this is the posterior superior part. The postero-inferior part, which is there consists of fenestra cochleae, which is a rounded opening or round window, and it opens into the scalae tympani of cochleae. Opens into the scalae tympani of the cochleae, and it is closed by the secondary tympanic membrane. Next, is a sinus tympani. Over here is a depression of the promontory. Behind the promontory there is a depression which is called the sinus tympani. And next last one is the processus cochleariformis. The processus cochleariformis, which is a hook-like projection which housing the tendon of tensor tympani muscle, and this is called the processus cochleariformis. So in the medial wall the features are, first one is the promontory, then in the postero-superior part oval window or oval opening fenestra vestibulae, then there is the prominence of facial canal, then comes in postero-inferior part, there comes a round window which is called fenestra cochleae. Here comes the sinus tympani, then this is the processus cochleariformis. Now we are going to look on what are the contents of the middle ear. The contents, first of all, the three ossicles. We have studied the ossicles in the video of tympanic membrane. Go through the tympanic membrane and ear ossicle. Write down the notes of ear ossicles and the attachment of the ligaments over there. And the next is the two muscles. The muscles are tensor tympani and stapedius. The tensor tympani muscle, which origin from the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube, and it is inserted to the upper end of the handle of malleus. Okay, and it is nerve supply is by the mandibular nerve, and its action is tenses the tympanic membrane. The next muscle, which is called the stapedius muscle, origin from the pyramidal eminence. From the pyramidal eminence, we have studied the pyramidal eminence in the posterior wall of the middle ear. And next here is insertion to the neck of stapes, in the neck of stapes, and nerve supply by the facial nerve, and its action, it tilts its foot plate in oval window. It tilts its foot plate in oval window. Next is the blood supply. The blood supply is by anterior tympanic branch of maxillary artery, stylomastoid branch of posterior auricular artery, petrosal branch of middle meningeal artery, superior tympanic branch of middle meningeal artery, tympanic branch of internal carotid artery, and tympanic branch of artery of pterygoid canal. So these are the 6 arteries which supply the middle ear. And next, the vein drains are pterygoid. The vein drains into the pterygoid venous plexus and superior petrosal sinus. Next is the nerve supply. The nerve supply is by the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve, superior and inferior caroticoid tympanic nerve, and the facial nerve. The branches of facial nerves which are supplying the middle ear are caudate tympani nerve, greater petrosal nerve, and the nerve to stapedius muscle, and also by the mandibular nerve. So there consists of 4 nerves: tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal nerve, superior and inferior caroticoid tympanic branch, facial nerve, and mandibular. And the tympanic plexus, which is formed, the plexus means group, and these nerves are formed by the tympanic branch of glossopharyngeal, superior and inferior caroticoid tympanic nerve, and the branches from facial ganglia. And this supplies the mucous membrane of the middle ear, mastoid air cells, and the eustachian tube. The eustachian tube, which is also called the auditory tube. Next is the lymphatic drainage. The lymph which drains into the preauricular and the retropharyngeal lymph node. Otitis media, which is common in infant and children, and you can see this what is otitis media in the previous video. And there is a progression of URTI to the middle ear through the pharyngotympanic tube, and the complication causing are acute mastoiditis and the mastoid abscess, and the meningitis and temporal lobe abscess. Temporal lobe is a part of cerebrum, and labyrinthitis causing vertigo and vomiting, and the cerebellar abscess. Next is the hyperacusis, which is the paralysis of stapedius muscle, Otosclerosis, the abnormal ossification of annular ligament which cause conductive deafness in adult. So these all about the middle ear, the walls, content, communication parts, nerve supply, blood supply, everything, and the clinical aspect. Thank you for watching.